You're ready for one of the most grace-filled, auspicious, potentially magical weeks ever in the astrology. This first week of December, it has a very rare, auspicious, wild lineup, one that I've never seen before with the Great Attractor. This is a point that opens up doors for us. It switches on our capacity to magnetize, to manifest, and to attract in. Now, here's the caveat. We want to get really clear about what it is that we're amplifying in our system. This is a week to really become aware of what you're attuned to, what you're paying attention to, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what is your energetic frequency, what is your emotional frequency, what are your thoughts. This is one week, like if you were ever going to do a meditation on self-awareness for a week, this would be it. Like an entire week of a meditation retreat dedicated to self-awareness. This is the week to do it. It's like to be so self-aware and also to be not just self-aware, like witnessing self, right? That's self-aware. It's beautiful, amazing practices to be the witness, right? But this week, it's to be the witness and the participant to constantly aligning with expanded self, with true self, with what it is that you genuinely, deeply, truly, authentically desire in your life. How do you genuinely long to feel? This is a really good one. This would be like practice number one, is thinking about meditating on deepening into how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? Do I want to feel anxious? Do I want to feel sad? Do I want to feel fearful? I'm guessing not many of us would pick those things, right? But not often do we sit and ask ourselves, do we give ourselves that conscious choice of how do we want to feel? This is part of what the Great Attractor teaches us. It teaches us, and this whole week in this Mercury Retrograde in Sagittarius, which is what's going on with the Cazimi on Thursday, landing on the Great Attractor opposite Jupiter, part of the lesson, P.S. the sun is also square to Saturn this week. I mean, that's talk about like lessons. That's Mr. Miyagi, really laying it on thick, right? But part of the lesson is to show you how powerful of a creator you are. That you are much more powerful than you think you are. You have much more choice than you think you have. And I'm not talking about myself too, right? Like I'm not trying to like go at you. That's kind of Sag energy though. So just know like everything, the way that this kind of conversation comes through, it's an embodiment of the energy of the moment. And so just letting it be the gift that it is without the personal nature, because that's Sag. Sag is the gift of the truth bomber without the personal, without feeling personally attacked. So if there's anything I can share around like receiving this conversation, it's let it take you to a deeper truth. Let it take you to a deeper truth. Let it strip away the false. That's kind of Sag. Let it just show you that there is a much greater, more expanded, more truth-filled, joy-filled, that's also Sagittarius, joy-filled, bliss-filled you. Experience of life, way of expressing yourself in life and creating a life that you not just love, but a life that lights you up like a Christmas tree. That's this week. So the lesson this week is your empowerment. It's your empowerment to co-create with creation. So let's go back to that simple choice of getting really conscious about how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? I want to feel alive. I want to feel on purpose. I want to feel like I'm making a difference, that I'm this somehow, it matters. I want to feel like what I do matters. I want to feel love. I want to feel that I am loved and that I can love. I want to feel, I'm just giving you some random things to feel into, right? That's one of the most powerful practices that we can do this week. And I mean, really and truly, it's kind of like setting this week aside to be so self-aware to be so self-aware, but not just witness self. It's to be so self-aware and then to constantly choose from a very empowered place. I am choosing to feel this. I am choosing to feel this. I am choosing to feel this. Because when we do, especially this week, I mean, these are just like universal laws. This is the way it always is. It's just really amplified this week. And with Mercury retrograde, he's trying to teach you how to do this. With Saturn being square to the sun, as the sun hits the Great Attractor with Mercury, right? They're trying to teach us how to do this, how to co-create with the creator, how to empower ourselves to have more choice. And then let's take this another step further. Here's the magic that switches on. Here's the magic of the Great Attractor, the magic of you as that. The magic is that when you deepen into that which you are most desiring to feel, let's just say it's, I was going to go with joy, but that one seems not quite right for this conversation. Let's go with, I want to feel alive. Right? Let's just say I want to feel alive. Like I want to feel a lot of vitality. I want to feel like youthfulness, like just aliveness. Like, yeah. So let's go with that one. So let's say you feel into, I want to feel alive. And then you really own the capacity that you can choose that to feel alive. You then, from Great Attractor, this is what Great Attractor amplifies in us. It switches this capacity on. This is that magnetic capacity. This is that attraction capacity. This is the manifestor capacity. Is it switches on this loud vibration within you, right? Like this energy signature of aliveness, So really, it then, energy to energy, frequency to frequency, right? The things that are aliveness, they come closer to you. The things that sustain the aliveness, bring the aliveness in you, they come closer to you. They come into your sphere. They come into your environment. They come into your awareness. The things that dull your shine, the things that deaden you, they kind of get repelled. They get pushed out. You don't see them. They don't show up. They're not on the same frequency. So there's, with this Great Attractor, you as the Great Attractor, you having this capacity. We all have this capacity, by the way. I know in the last podcast episode, I talked about my mom has this capacity. If my mom, the farmer in Wisconsin, has this capacity, we all have this capacity. We all have this capacity. So please don't put this outside of yourself, because this is you. You are this. You have this. Now we can switch it on consciously, and just having this conversation, sitting here, we're switching it on more because you're bringing your awareness to it. You're bringing your focus to it. You're bringing your focus to it. Now there's also, can be like a stepping in. There can be a meditating with it, right? So you could deepen into it to, more sustainable embodiment of it. All right. And you could do that by joining bones. You could do that by journeying into the Great Attractor workshop we have. You could do that by doing other things outside of ReWilding that you feel really hold that Great Attractor essence and would open that up in you and help you sustain that within yourself. But so feeling into this capacity of Great Attractor is alive and well in you. And then what starts to happen is the environment around you, it becomes louder. Like your frequency, your energy imprint becomes louder. This is part of what it does for you. It becomes louder so that it can reach further the things to magnetize them into your world. It can reach further to repel the things that don't match the frequency, that don't match that deep, true desire that you're feeling. Now, this doesn't just work with emotions. This also works with when we get really, really honest about what we're longing for. Really honest about what we're longing for. And sometimes getting really honest about what we're longing for, it'll bring you to tears. Sometimes it's like such a deep craving in self that we've buried it. I mean, so many times I talk to women, and when you talk and you get really vulnerable and you get really raw with each other and you take down the tough girl, independent, have to do it all myself, whatever. And we just go deeper into what we're longing for. A lot of times it's longing for connection, like longing for deep intimacy, longing longing for like love, connection, longing. So if we can, and that's just an example, I'm giving you an example that may have touched you in some way. And if it did, be so honest about it. That's Sag season. Remember, we get to be truth bombers to ourselves without getting offensive, without getting, it's like, just may I see the truth? May I see the truth without it feeling like I'm being personally attacked? That's one of the big, powerful gifts of this season that will take us further, take us deeper, open us up more, is that. All right. So when we are feeling into the energetics of this week and the Great Attractor and working with this energy, right? And it's this week-long know thyself meditation, self-awareness meditation retreat that we're in. And we're not just witnessing self. We're witnessing and then we're readjusting. We're stepping into the power of choice. I have choice to choose joy. I have choice to choose aliveness. And I can feel, what is it that I truly, genuinely, deeply want to feel? What is it that I truly, genuinely, deeply want to feel? What is it that I truly, genuinely, deeply want to be in my beingness? Beingness is another really good word for this week. So instead of like the doingness, the outward, forward movement, doing, working hard, putting effort in. It's my beingness that's important. I just put out a social media, little Instagram reel, and it was like, it's the beingness over the doingness that's really important this week. What is your beingness? Because your beingness is going to magnetize things in that match that beingness. And match doesn't mean that my aliveness brings in something that is alive. My aliveness match might bring in something that brings me more alive. So when I say matching frequencies, it's not that aliveness attracts aliveness, right? Or like my wild feminine attracts wild feminine. My wild feminine might attract wild masculine that allows more of my wild feminine to show up, right? Can you see that? So I want to make sure that my semantics, my words that I'm choosing aren't limiting us. That's something else for this week is do not limit. Do not limit things. It's expanded mind. We don't want to be limited this week. We don't want to be limited this week. Okay. So let's go back to this deep heart longing, deep heart desire. We can work with this very consciously this week. But here's the thing. We're going to want to go there in the vulnerability, in the tears, in the, oh my God, I do not want to admit to the fact that I am so deeply longing for this. It hurts so bad that I don't have this. I've covered it up. I've buried it. That's the place you want to get to. That's the place you want to get to. I mean, what else we got to do with this one wild, precious life of ours? We might as well go to the guts of it. We might as well go to the things that we are most deeply craving. We might as well bring them up to the surface to get conscious of them. Bring them into this week. Bring them into this week where the Great Attractor is alive, is loud, where we have Mercury Retrograde teaching us how to not just feel the pain of the longing, right? But to open up to the longing in a way that that frequency can call in its equal matching counterpart to fulfill the longing. Really and truly, that's what's on offer this week. That's what's on offer. It's going to take effort though. I can talk about it like grace bombs falling out of the sky. It takes conscious awareness though, and it's going to take some effort to not, no, I'm not going to say that. It's going to take effort. I'll leave it at that, right? So whether that be your own practice, maybe every single day you practice with the Great Attractor. For those of you working in membership, we just had Great Attractor activation today in Circle, December 1st on the new moon. We've got the Great Attractor activation happening, right? Every single day for the whole week, you could work with this activation of Great Attractor, Great Attractor, Great Attractor, Great Attractor, Great Attractor, the stepping in that we did, right? The connecting in your connection point to the Great Attractor connection point, letting that Great Attractor sacred energy, right? It's a Shakti, it's a flavor of Kundalini, it's a flavor of divine energy, it's a flavor of sacred energy, letting that sacred energy move through you, right? So that it can open us up to a louder frequency, a truer frequency, one that then can ripple out, call in the things from the deep longing, the deep desire. you're super welcome to join us in Bones. If you're not in membership and you're like, great, Sabrina, love that everybody's got the Great Attractor. I don't have that, right? You can get it. You can get it. Would love to share it with you. It's in Bones. It's in membership. The replay is up. There's a bonus Great Attractor workshop that's part of the 8 hours of bonus workshops that are in there. It's $59. You get access to 9, I don't even know how many hours, but you get this Great Attractor workshop that was just recorded on the 1st. You also get the bonus Great Attractor workshop, plus a 3-part Nothing But Soul series, which is really good to work with around Great Attractor, around opening up to deep heart's desires. How it might take a little bit of love and softening and compassion to get to these deep heart desires. They're vulnerable, right? Like that's a vulnerable spot to admit to confess to, like what it is that touches us really, really deeply. That takes a lot of care and a lot of love, right? So that 3-part series, Nothing But Soul, that'll help you to get into that place. It's an embodiment of soul, and it helps us drop into the heart, drop into the soul. What is it that we're deeply, from a soul essence, deep heart essence, longing for? You can also practice that stuff on your own. That's great. But if you want to be guided into it, not think about it, Bones is on offer. You can always just join for a month, deepen into it. You can stay for a lifetime. It's completely up to you. There's a holiday special. You get 4 months for free if you want to join for a year. Just that's all there. You'll find links above and links below. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the astrology. Let's go day by day. So we kicked off December 1st with the new moon. Now this new moon is in Sag. New moon, new beginnings, new chapters. In Sag, it's beautiful. It's new moon, new seeds, new chapters for your expansion. So what seeds are you planting that help you to expand, that help you to think bigger, that help you personal growth? You want to think personal growth. What is it that you're growing into? What are you expanding? Is your consciousness expanding? Is your spirituality expanding? Is your embodiment of soul expanding? What is it that's expanding in you? That's Sag energy. But then feel into, what are the seeds you're planting to expand this week? Like I'm feeling into booking into a trip to India, right? I'm feeling like that. To me, I'm planting a seed. I'm planting a seed now. I'm not going to go do that trip until like October or something of this year, but it feels right. And I know that just by planting that seed now, there's an energetic something that I am plugged into from the moment I plant that seed. So this is a week of seed planting. Seed planting, even if it's like booking a trip for a long ways away, even if it's like signing up for the thing, right? Committing to the thing, like starting the thing, even if it doesn't seem like it's going to come to culmination for a while, because oftentimes good stuff takes time. Like the big stuff can take time, but this is the time to plant the seed, to start the thing, right? Start the thing that leads to your words. Remember those words that we started with? True self, true essence, expansion, like Sagittarius, truth, expansion. You also joy. Like Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss, your joy. What is it that lights you up? What is it that's joyful for you? What is it that's joyful for you? Beyond limitations, beyond boxes. Okay, so that new moon, that happens on Sunday, on the 1st of December. It's sandwiched between, the Great Attractor is sandwiched between that new moon, which is the sun and the moon conjunct. That's a new moon. Then there's the Great Attractor in the middle. And then on the other side is Mercury Retrograde. This is such a powerful new moon. It is so powerful. It is so potent, right? It is, because it's leading up to this point where the sun meets with Mercury right perfectly on the Great Attractor at 14 degrees of Sagittarius. That is typically an auspicious time when the sun meets Mercury during a retrograde. It's called the Mercury Cazimi, right? It's powerful. It's when the insights get revealed. It's when the Mercury insights get revealed. You know what this retrograde was about. And this Mercury retrograde was about your personal growth. This Mercury retrograde, he goes retrograde, he's psychopomp, messenger to the soul. He goes retrograde to show you, here's how you deepen into alignment. Here's how you get into a deeper alignment with that which will expand you, that which will broaden your horizons, that which will light you up, bring you joy from a soulful, true self place. Isn't that great? This is so great. So great. It's why we want to be so conscious this week. We want to practice. We want to do the things. We want to sign up for the things. We want to feel the things. We want to stay in that. How do I really want to be? We want to be real conscious creators this week. Like, take a break next week, right? Like this second week of December, whatever, take a break that week. But this week, this is go time. This is go time. This is stay in alignment. This is talk to the people with high vibrations. This is don't watch the news this week. This is do your practices. This is sign up for the things that light you up. This is go do the Great Attractor workshop, the Bones workshop. Go sign up for the thing in India or the thing in London, Berlin, Sydney. We have a couple of events. Those are on holiday special too. But whatever it is, it's got to be true for you. You know, whatever it is that you're signing up for, it's got to be true for you. It's got to be, you know, like, this lights me up. This lights me up. It might seem like it's beyond you. India seems way beyond me. My schedule doesn't allow for that shit right now. This does not allow for that. It's going to have to. It's going to have to, right? It's going to have to. Like, we could be saying, like, my finances don't allow for that. They're going to have to. They're going to have to. Like, I don't have the time for that. I'm going to have to make time for that because that is soul essential to me. Like, that's the stuff. That's what we want to give power to this week. Soul essential. This feels soul essential to me. Moving feels soul essential to me. There are certain things that feel soul essential. That's the week to stay in alignment with those because, let's go back to the astrology. So the first was the new moon in Sag. Now on Monday, Mercury trines Chiron. This is all this Mercury retrograde. Mercury trines Chiron. That is a good aspect to the shaman. It's a good aspect to the shaman. It's a good aspect to healing. I like this. The third, Mercury sextile Lilith and Vesta. Ooh, we just worked with Vesta in Bones. If you join Bones, right, $59, you get like all those 8 hours of workshops. We worked with the energy of Vesta. I didn't actually know that she was in the astrology. Like, I forgot that she was in the astrology until she comes into the workshop. And I was like, why are we working with the sacred inner flame of Vesta? Stunning energy to work with. Beautiful because she helps to bring focus to, right? So her Shakti, her gift, her sacred wisdom that she activates in us when we embody her, open up to her archetypal energy, right? Her Shakti, her gifts, that which is within us, it's the focus to stay soul aligned. Like, it's a V. I keep doing this V thing because that's her symbol. It's a V. It's a V. It's the sacred inner flame, right? It's your inner flame. And what she brings is she brings focus, right? She's like, this is what lights you up. This is what you're most called to. Yes, the world can call you in 1,000 different ways and 1,000 different voices all over the place. Everybody wants a little piece of you, but this here is what most aligns. This here is what most lights you up. So just feel that powerful energy to work with. You can work with her in Bones. We're also working with her in Archetype IX. I know some of you are in IX. Big announcement. One of our December archetypes, there will be 3 this month. One of them will be Vesta. So we're going to work with that Vesta. It's the Vestal Virgins. It's that sacred inner flame. If you're not in IX, that is our big year-long mystery school, 36 archetypal activations. It's the big one. Right now, it's on holiday offer. The doors are open. The doors are not always open to that program, but right now, we are taking new participants into that program. You will get Vesta. You will be right along with the lineup of archetypes coming through. So you will work with Vesta this month. You can find details for Archetype IX below. Right now, you get free tour tickets. You get a free weekend in-person event in, like I shared before, London, Sydney, or Berlin when you sign up for IX during kind of this holiday fun promotion, specials, magical offers that we threw together for our community. Okay, so that is on the 3rd. So now let's come to the 4th. Remember I talked about Jupiter was opposing, you might not remember that, but Jupiter is opposite this Cazimi, off by 2 degrees on Thursday. So Thursday's the big potent day. We're still on Wednesday. Wednesday is when Mercury opposes Jupiter. That's just like bringing big expansive energy to your Mercury retrograde. Now he's about to hit the midway point. My sense is that on Wednesday, it's a good day to be open to insights coming in. So insights around a Mercury retrograde in Sag would be opening up to, all right, what was this Mercury retrograde about? What have the last 2 weeks been showing me? What is it that it's time for me to make an adjustment around? What area of my life is calling for expansion? And then starting to see, this area of my life, this was the one that kind of got lit up over the last 2 weeks. So it's like insights are coming, the revelations. If you're not feeling them yet, that's okay. That's okay. They typically come around the midway point, which is the 5th. But Jupiter's going to expand that coming up on Wednesday. So Wednesday, we're going to want to still be in our week-long meditation, self-awareness retreat of constantly empowering ourselves to make a choice of what it is that we really want, what our deep longings are, how it is that we want to feel. Those two things. How do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? And that can change. That can change day to day to day to day to day, moment to moment to moment to moment. How is it that I really want to feel that fills me up, lights me up, that feels so true and so expanded to myself? And this is number 2, what are my deep core desires? What am I deeply desiring in my most vulnerable of vulnerable hearts? What is it that I'm longing for? What is it that my soul, you can feel into heart and soul as 2 separate things. I know that's sometimes really powerful for people. Sometimes you feel heart and soul as one, but sometimes it helps to kind of feel like the heart as more of the I'm not going to say it because I'm just going to start putting words on things and I don't want to mess up anybody's thinking around this, but you can separate and feel into, okay, what does my deep vulnerable heart want? And then what is my soul longing to experience in this life? What is my soul longing to experience in this life? They can be the same thing or 2 things. All right. So that's Wednesday, Jupiter opposite Mercury in his retrograde format, starting to get insights, starting to get revelations. Make some space to listen to your intuition. Do some free flow writing, do some meditating, have a conversation with a good soul friend, ask yourself truth bombing questions. There's a lot of good truth bombing questions in Bones, in membership, in the 2-hour workshop that we just did on the 1st that I've been talking about, right? Super happy for you to go in there, grab all those questions, go have the conversation with some soul friends. Thursday's the big one. It's like we've been prepping for Thursday. Actually, I do want to pause for a quick second, and I do want to just say, I just remembered that on Wednesday, this is the day before the big one, Wednesday, the sun is square Saturn. Some people would think that this is bad, right? Saturn can sometimes be the thing that holds us back. He can be like the reality check. He can be the karmic taskmaster. I fucking love this, and here's why. Because Saturn is the one who makes it manifest into the physical world. He's like the keeper of the space between dreams and manifesting dreams. And I love that he's in that lineup. I love that he's square the sun because it's the sun, conjunct Mercury, that is about to be on top of the Great Attractor. So Saturn, he's going to test on Wednesday. How much do you want this? So wait for the tests, watch for the tests. He's going to test. That's what he does. He's Mr. Miyagi. How long are you going to wax on, wax off, sunshine? I'm testing you. I'm training you. I'm bringing you into self-mastery. Remember earlier, I said Mercury and Saturn are both teaching us this week, teaching us how to come into our power, how to really get the things we want, how to even feel into what it is that we truly want, not what society says we want, not what our ego is puking on about, but what it is that will truly light you up, that will truly make you feel fulfilled, that truly deeply, the vulnerable stuff, right? Saturn's going to test you. He's going to test you. So just be with it. If you're an Archetype IX, you might have the Saturn workshop already. Go do your Saturn work. If you're not an Archetype IX, jump in, right? You get all 36 of the archetypes. Every single archetype we talk about here in the astrology stuff, you get to work with those energies. You get to do the Saturn work. You get to do your Venus work. You get to do your Mars work. You get to do your Vesta work. You get to activate all of those sacred energies within self. All right, again, all those details are below. So let's finally talk about the big one, Thursday. Thursday, this big, magical, potent, powerful, wild lineup of the Mercury Cazimi, which is the Sun conjunct Mercury on the Great Attractor, opposing Jupiter. Again, Jupiter brings the expansion. He just brings more. Jupiter's like Sag energy. That's Jupiter's home, Sag energy. So it just brings more benevolence, more grace bombing, more expansion. And so to have the Sun, this is now Mercury at his midway point in his retrograde, on the Sun, on the Great Attractor. The Sun is the conscious part of you, right? That's you. That's the part of you that you are most aware of. That is the part of you that you are most aware of. So for the part of you that you are most aware of, being with Mercury, the mind, a lot of us are very well aware of our mind, much more so than we are like of our gut feelings or of our soul or of other parts of ourself. We're very identified with this little gem, right? So Mercury, mind, soul, Sun, conscious part of self, right? Those on the Great Attractor. This is why you want to have the mind and the conscious part of self in alignment with what it is that you deeply, truly want. Because if you're sitting there and you're just puking through silly thoughts on Thursday, you're going to attract in more silly shit. If you're sitting there in high anxiety, high fear, because you weren't doing your work, consciously choosing in an empowered place what it is that you want to feel like, you're going to bring in more anxiety. You're going to bring in more fear. You're going to bring in more anger. You're going to bring in more of the goo. You just are. It's just what's going to happen. The Great Attractor does not care. There is no good or bad in universal law. There is no good or bad in the Great Attractor. He is just going to bring in whatever it is that your Sun and your mind, your Sun as in conscious self and your mind are most attuned to. He's just going to bring in more of that. Isn't this good though? Because we have the choice from a very consciously empowered place. We have the choice to bring in more of the stuff that we genuinely, deeply, truly want to feel. We just have to put in the effort. This is where I said earlier, it's going to take work. It's going to take work. You watch. There are going to be some people that get wiped out this week. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. This is why I'm saying just be so conscious, because we can either attract in a whole lot of good stuff, right? Whole lot of miracles, whole lot of big magic, whole lot of joy, whole lot of bliss, whole lot of aliveness. Remember we did that little aliveness practice? We can either attract that in, or we can let the world bowl us over with like the collective anxiety that's sitting out there, or the collective heaviness, or the collective fear. We can get into that, land on the Great Attractor on Thursday, and just pull in even more fear. And then we miss this great cosmic gateway to goodness. Oh my, I just want us all, I just want us all to get so much out of this, to just get every last ounce of aligned true self, expansive self, love self, joy self, the things that genuinely light us up. I just want us to bring in more of that, and we have a capacity to do that. And it's not just for ourselves, right? One person does this, it just ripples out. It just ripples out. We help everyone else do it. If you're in Bones, you saw that. Like you saw the power of coming together, right? When we amplify that energy sitting in a sacred circle like that. Again, if you're not a member of Bones, this might be the week to join, just to give it a try, right? Because it's such a potent week. I mean, really and truly. All right. Enough of me hammering on about that. Yada, yada, yada. Come Friday, let's come back to this. I'll wrap this up pretty quickly because I'll do a weekend video probably. We'll see. Who knows? Now, come Friday, Mars goes retrograde. Mercury squares Saturn. Remember the Sun squared Saturn earlier? Now Mercury is going to square Saturn. This is, again, could be, on the positive side, could be where we start to bring even more into reality. Saturn is the great manifester. Saturn as he who sits between dreams and reality. He who brings it into reality, grounds it and manifests it into the physical 3D tough world, right? It's one thing to shift the energy, one thing to shift thoughts, one thing to shift emotions. It's another thing to physically change the body. Saturn is the link between that. So now it's like physically changing the body, physically changing our relationships, our homes, our careers, our daily lives, like in the physical 3D world. It's stunning. It's beautiful. And again, we just want to stay attuned. We want to stay attuned to that which really lights us up. Okay. I think that's it. I will end it there. Y'all have the most amazing week ever. If you want to watch another podcast, I would go watch Mercury Retrograde We'll put that link next. I did a whole Mercury retrograde. I did not talk about the Great Attractor. So it was actually before I noticed, figured out that this alignment was happening, but there's still some good dates in there. So if you want to go feel into that, that would be the episode that I would say go watch next. But I would go do something next. Like I would go meditate. I would go get real conscious. I would go set some intentions for this week. I would go join Bones, do the Great Attractor workshop that's in there. That's one of the bonuses. And I would do this December 1st workshop. I would start there. Then I would go into the Great Attractor workshop. All right. Massive love to you all. It is amazing to be here with you. Thank you all so much for absolutely everything. This is a complete co-creation, and I would not be here without you. Love seeing you all in the comments. I'm always there the first couple of days. If you don't want to miss anything, you can always hit the notifications button or the subscribe button or whatever. All right. I will see you when I see you, how I see you, and where I see you. I almost forgot it. I'm so fired up about this Great Attractor. All right. So much love to you.